welcome to episode 3 of the Blue Devils Advocate. I'm your host, Max Arzu. We hope you enjoyed the previous episode where we talked about res life at CCSU. If you haven't seen it yet, be sure to look for it on channel 23-1 on CCSU Blue TV. Viewers who don't have access to Blue TV can find the episode on our YouTube channel at the link below. We all know the end goal for graduating students is to get a job and make that paper. Plenty of us are working part-time and fending for ourselves, but to find a job in the field you're studying for can be challenging, especially if you do not have the experience. Thankfully, that's where doing an internship comes in handy. You can work with professionals one-on-one and learn more about the business firsthand. Here at Central, we have the Center for Advising and Career Exploration, or CASE for short. Our very own Fabian Fonseca and Chelsea Scribner give an inside look about what CASE is all about.
This is Fabian Fonseca reporting live for CCSU for Blue Devils Advocate. I think the one thing that's always on college students' minds is, what's my future like? Where can I find a job? Where can I intern? How can I get my foot in the door? We've interviewed some people, and you'll have your answer. What is some advice that you can offer to students to find internships, especially for communication majors?
You know, I think it's obviously important that you pay attention to your classes and do well academically. But I think one of the biggest favors that a student can do to him or herself is an internship or a co-op. An internship is basically where the students are in an unpaid position, but they're working in a professional environment. So it could be at a place like Fox 61 or the New Britain Herald, or doing public relations for either a company or a nonprofit organization. And these internships help students make the transition from classroom to the professional world. I've seen a lot of cases where students have essentially parlayed internships into jobs because it's kind of a test period, and if the hosting organization likes the intern and feels he or she is a good fit, if a position opens, they very often get it. Even if it doesn't lead to a job, it's experience on a resume. And in addition to having that bachelor's degree, employees want to see experience, and internships, even if they're not paid, count as bona fide experience.
The most important part for employers is that they see that students have real professional, real life work experience. So one way to achieve that is to do an internship, even two, in the communication department. We have a lot of companies that are looking for interns and contact us. There are some very attractive positions at local TV stations and production houses. What is important is that you take that leap, that you may even find out things that you didn't want to do.
So you would argue that experience is more important than credentials?
You need them both. You need them both. When I started out many years ago, you could get jobs in television stations without a college degree. Peter Jennings, who used to anchor ABC News, did not have a college degree. That is not the case today. I mean, I'm not going to say that everyone goes to college, but but so many people go to college that bachelor's degree is almost like a minimum cutoff. And if they don't see that on your resume, it's going to be pretty hard to get your foot in the door. An exception could be in some of the film and video positions. Quentin Tarantino dropped out of middle school, but I wouldn't recommend that to anyone unless you've got his talent.
When it comes to applying for a job, when it comes to finding an internship, when it comes to even filling out your resume, there are many people at CCSU that can help you and many resources that you can benefit from to get your career moving forward.
Is that you need to be ready to have your resume in place. So make sure that you include not only your education, but also your work experience, your internship opportunities, and then the software you're familiar with. If you did studio production, include that. If you worked on a TV show, include that in your resume. And you may even do a video resume that you can prepare to be sent out.
When students arrive at CCSU, they are advised through the advising center called CASE. And then once a student declares a major, then that student receives an advisor in the major discipline. So whether it's communication or psychology or nursing or whatever it is, you receive someone in your major.
Our office has two main roles here at Central. The first one being we help all first year as well as undeclared students with academic advising. So we work with students during the summer to help prepare for the fall course load, and then we work with students actually at this point of the year to help them pick their classes for the spring. So it's very important that students make sure that career services is a priority all 4 years. And as long as they kind of stay with that mindset to make sure that their career development is following them throughout, they should have no problem getting a job after they graduate.
The whole idea is you have to kind of treat your future career in getting a job like you treat college. And you have to treat it in a very professional way. You know, you can't be late. You have to make sure there's no spelling errors. You have to make sure that it reads well. And so a lot of it is really getting students to recognize, you know, the serious nature and the competitive nature of the working world. We have had great success with our mentoring program. Students have gone on to internships, part-time and full-time jobs through the connections that they make.
I think the one thing that's always on college students' minds is, what's my future? Where can I find a job? As it turns out, most places won't hire you without prior experience. And what's the best way to get experience? An internship. For Blue Devils Advocate, this is Fabian Fonseca and Chelsea Scribner reporting.
And here for the first section of our interview is Fabian Fonseca. Fabian, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
All right, and so we're going to get right into it. You interviewed
Dr. Ritzenhoff.
And what was that conversation like?
It was very, very enlightening, honestly, because she has plenty of experience, and it was just optimizing your interview possibilities and opportunities. She said the most important thing, especially for us communications majors, is to just find internships. Most employers are always looking for more experience, not so much what degrees you have, not so much who you know, just what more experience you have. So she was just listing off possible internships for us as our communication students. It was very, very interesting to hear.
And so, in getting an internship, it is important because you know you get
it's a challenge.
You get that
definitely.
one-on-one experience.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not necessarily one-on-one, but just that.
You definitely
out
get your
of the field
foot in the
experience.
door.
And so, with that, you can definitely decide whether you want to be in that field by doing internships.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, with CASE, they can help you get to that
Yes.
point. And so, can you just talk about CASE a little bit and what they entail?
Well, unfortunately, she didn't touch upon CASE too much, though. But I've seen emails. So I get emails every week about internship opportunities from CASE. So I think that's important. CASE definitely reaches out to students and gives them chances to apply for internship opportunities, though. So last week I had to apply to one. I always get them every single week, so that definitely helps in finding something.
And so internships, they're definitely one of the better ways to get into the job market.
Absolutely.
Because it's very competitive. Everybody's trying to get a
If they
job.
see that you'll do a good job and maybe 6 months down the road, once you graduate, they'll say, oh, I remember him. He did really, really well here. I'll take him.
And for those that may not know where CASE is located, can you just let the viewers know?
I believe CASE is in De Loretto,
In De Loretto.
their office.
Okay. And so, yeah, anything that, you know, if any student is looking for information, CASE is probably the best place to go.
CASE is definitely the best opportunity that you can have to find at least something to get your foot in the door for any field that you might have been interested in.
And what are some of the fields that you're looking at?
I would love to do production, radio broadcasting, camera work, video editing. So if I can find anything in any of those three fields that I've mentioned, I think I'll be okay.
Perfect. Well, thanks, Fabian. And we are going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Chelsea Scribner for the second part of this story. And here for section 2 of our interview is Chelsea Scribner. Chelsea, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
And so we're going to continue talking about CASE a little bit more and a little bit about resumes also, because that's another important aspect of getting a job.
Yeah, it's very important. So CASE is cool. You can go there any day during the week, Monday through Friday. They're open, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., which they have very flexible hours. And you just walk in. Obviously, you have to be a Central student, and you can bring a resume, they can help you, they can answer all your questions there for you and kind of help you get started, because I feel like that's the hardest part, is getting started with one.
And just to clear up, it's not in Willard. It's in
Carroll. It's the
in
first
Carroll.
floor of Carroll, yes.
And so I know myself, I've been there quite a few times just to make sure that I'm on the right path so I can graduate on time.
Right.
And so it's a very useful place to go to.
No, definitely. I think it's very useful, and I think that more people should take advantage of it because a lot do not know about it, maybe at incoming freshmen. So it's good that people are now becoming aware of it.
And as we transition from case, we're going to go into the resumes. And so obviously, you know, a resume is a little background information of what you've done just so you can show your future employer. And they do that there also.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, you can walk right in. They'll help you get started. There's also resume building specifically that they do there. And you can, you know, build your resume. They can help you. You can go in there with nothing. And I think that's the nice part because a lot of people don't know how to start one.
And in your opinion, how important is it to land an internship prior to getting a job?
Oh, it's crucial. It's vital. You really do need one. Most people intern and then get a job from it. That's probably the best thing you can do in order to start a career.
And you were saying that there's about 80 different internships you can apply for while you're here?
Yeah,
if I heard correct?
Yeah, Dr. Popinski said about around there, and he said that usually every year they get about 30 students. So more people need to be taking advantage of internships, and they don't.
And just a real quick summary, for those who don't know who Dr. Podlinski is, can you just mention that?
Yeah, he's head of the communication department. I interviewed him, and he also teaches a mentoring class that works with about 8 to 12 students, and you kind of mentor with someone with the career path that you want to get into, and then you also work on resumes and you talk about internships. So it's a very useful class. It's only a 1-credit class, and it's Com 399.
All right, well, thank you, Chelsea. We appreciate it. And once you get the internship, actually doing it, it can be intimidating. You're thrown into a pool without floaties. So what can you expect? Our correspondent Dustin met with some students who have had internships before to talk about their experiences.
The importance of internships for college students is growing more and more, and CCSU students are recognizing that.
Yeah, I've started looking for the summer.
I've looked a little bit, but probably not going to do one for like a year or so.
It's about who you know, and that would definitely give me a start.
So it's just to get some experience in the field you want.
Yeah, and I feel like it looks good on the resume.
23-year-old Cody Sanborn, who recently graduated from Roger Williams University with a master's in architecture, knows firsthand about the benefits of an internship towards establishing a career.
Securing a position as an intern, as an architectural design intern at the firm located in my favorite place in the world, which is Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts. It was my first real office setting experience. I had never had an internship before or really had any interactions with an actual real-life architecture firm until this point. So I was nervous going in at first, but within literally a few days I was already comfortable. I felt at home. Everyone at the firm was very cool, very welcoming. There's a real huge difference between a educational setting, being at school and living on campus and all of that, and actually working in a real firm. In school, you only think of as a concept, but you never are actually exposed to that. The internship carried right over into the actual work setting.
Cody's now a designer at the Quisenberry architecture firm in Farmington, Connecticut. For Blue Devils Advocate, I'm Dustin Wong.
Now in the studio, we have Dustin to talk about being an intern. Dustin?
Hi, Max. Thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate it.
No problem. And so, about being an intern
right.
and applying, well, past applying, but when you're actually an intern, you get very good experience.
Oh, for sure, for sure. This one kid I was talking to him, Cody Sanborn, he was in his first or second year of grad school when he saw this fair, and he signed up to be an intern at this firm in Martha's Vineyard called Hutker, and he got some real world office experience. And it's so you learn so much more actually being in like an office setting as opposed to like taking the classes here at Central. I mean, you'll learn plenty here, and I don't want to disparage the classes we have here, but when you're out there in the real world, I mean, you're working with professionals one-on-one and kind of learning the business of the trade, you learn so much more, and it really prepares you to actually go out there and apply apply for jobs.
Because a lot of the times, I know for me, sometimes doing it by the book, I don't really get the information until I'm actually on the field.
Oh no, of course, yeah. You can take as many tests and essays and like practice assignments as you want, but you're not gonna know what's really like until you get out there and you have a boss with deadlines and real people to work with, coworkers and stuff.
And is definitely one of the better experiences to get an internship. Not many students take advantage of it just because of the fact that sometimes it's not paid.
Oh yeah, people get worried about that, but I think it's definitely worth a shot to at least apply to some. I mean, it's hard to find one, especially because we're both communication majors and we're looking out for. I mean, I'm looking for TV production, and you're doing the same.
I'm all over the place, but mostly production.
Production.
That is definitely in production.
And it's hard to find, especially because when you're interning in our field, that you don't really go into it right away. You're probably gonna end up getting someone's coffee at first, and so, and especially if you're not getting paid, it's a little intimidating. But you gotta get your foot in the door somehow, because it's better to start now and get some experience, get your foot in the door, meet some people before you graduate, and then you're like a fish out of water,
Yeah, sometimes a lot of the students, they assume that if you're not getting paid, it's not worth doing. But if you're initially starting off, you have to get experience somewhere.
Exactly.
Whether it's using a small camera or a phone, you can't really use the big stuff without using the
I've
basics.
done 2 internships so far being at Central, and while they weren't the best, and I'm definitely, if I could go back in time, I might not do them. I definitely learned a lot working with some people. Even if you have a bad experience, you'll learn something, like the kind of people you want to not work with.
Exactly.
And you learn about making things for someone else, learning to follow someone else's rules.
All right, well, Dustin, thank you. I appreciate it, and we'll be right back after a quick break. And that's all for this episode, everyone. We hope you were taking notes. By now, you should have all the tools to be successful in a post-grad life. Be sure to follow our social media pages on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. In our 4th episode, we'll be discussing clubs on campus. Until then, I'm Max Arzu. Have a great day, everyone.